Hello BookTube. Today I'm going to be doing the Why Haven't I Read This Book Yet tag. This tag was created by another bibliophile Reads who weaponized a video from Fiber Artsy, and I was kindly tagged by Sean D. Standfast, and I'll leave links to all three videos in the show notes down below. So the first prompt is a classic book. By this I'm going to take it as a canonical work. Which is usually what I refer classics to or as. And for this, I'm going to go with The Mill on the Floss by George Eliot. I'm not as well read in the canonical works as I would like to be. I don't naturally gravitate to classics or the canonical. My favorite genre of fiction is science fiction and fantasy, although if you've been following my channel for any length of time, you'll be like, really? It's a whole thing. But I don't naturally gravitate towards the canonical, and I have a rather toxic relationship, I guess, with modern and contemporary literary fiction. But I do get into phases where I do want to read them. I do want to collect them. Although once I get around to reading them, it's usually quite heavy bailing time. I bail on them all the time. But anyway. But I've been wanting to get to The Mill on the Floss for quite a while, and I was going to get to the book last October for Victober when The Way We Live Now by Anthony Trollope pretty much put a stake through the heart of Victober. Anyway, but hopefully this Victober I will get around to The Mill on the Floss. And if not that, then maybe middle March. I'm planning on picking that up too, maybe sometime in the coming months before October. The second prompt is a regular work of fiction. And for this, I'm going to go with Beloved by Toni Morrison. I haven't gotten around to it yet. I had a copy years ago that I ended up getting rid of in a previous book purge, and I've regretted never having read this book, and I really need to. And I'm hoping that I can come up with a reading project either later this year or into the new year that will provide a good opportunity to read Beloved. I really need to get to this one. The third prompt is nonfiction. And for this prompt, I'm going with In the Land of a Thousand Gods by Christian Marek. And translated by Stephen Rendall. This is a big history of Anatolia, the Near East, from at least the Hittites, or before the Hittites, to see, when does it end? Okay, to the Roman period. And I've been looking forward to reading this for a while. I have a major sweet tooth for the Hittites. They were an Anatolian empire that ruled for a number of centuries in the late Bronze Age, and I'm very fascinated by them, and I welcome any opportunity I get to collect more histories of the Hittites. So, looking forward to reading this. I'm thinking of getting to this for Nonfiction November. Although at the moment, my interest in history has ebbed rather significantly over the course of June. A lot of the histories I read in June, I either bailed on or it didn't really work for me. And that's really been a rather common theme throughout this year. In 2020, I really fell back in love with history as its own genre of writing. And that continued into 2021 to such an extent that I thought about doing a no fiction 2022 where I would only read nonfiction, only history in 2022. And as luck would have it, it completely fell apart within the second book I read in this year, which was A Bale. So, yeah, and my history reading hasn't really recovered ever since, so hopefully it will recover by November and I can get around to this or not. I don't know. So for a genre fiction or a genre book, I'm going with science fiction. I'm going with Snow Crash by Neal Stephenson. I've been meaning to get to this book forever. It is one of the seminal works of cyberpunk, which is a subgenre of science fiction that deals with technology, with how humans interact with technology, a bit of postmodernism, and a little punk. Although exactly how punk is, well, your mileage may vary. But I've been wanting to get to Snow Crash for a while and I haven't, and I'm taking the opportunity of my back to school reading project that I'm doing in August to finally get around to Snow Crash. Which is one of the great things about like these sort of themed reading projects, whether a whole number of booktubers and booktube watchers participate or just an individual thing. It's like it does give you the opportunity to, depending on what the prompts are and challenges are, to read books that have been on your TBR for a very long time that you just haven't gotten to yet and you don't know exactly when you're going to get to them. So one of the great things about that. And so the final prompt, besides tagging people, is the book that's been on your TBR or that you've had the longest, that you haven't read yet. And for this, I'm thinking it's Frisk by Dennis Cooper. This is, I think, his second novel, and I'm pretty sure I've had this book longer than The Line of Beauty by Alan Hollinghurst, which is another contender. But I've read some of Dennis Cooper's work, and I have been rather fond of it. It's been a while since I've read it. I need to really revisit what I've read and what I haven't read of his work, and this is definitely high up on the list. So anyway, not entirely sure when I'll get to it though. But anyway, BookTube, that was the why haven't I read these books yet tag. If you would like to do this tag and you haven't done it yet, consider yourselves tagged if you would like to do this tag. I will see you later this evening with weekly reads, which will also feature a bit of a TBR for what I'll be reading the next about week or two of July. So until then, BookTube, thank you, have a great afternoon, and stay safe.